Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, we're going to talk about evolution versus creation, as I'm joined by Evangelist, author, founder of the Dinosaur Adventureland, and creation expert, Kent Hovind. He has been put in prison for his views, and they didn't put him in prison actually for the creation view, but we're going to talk to him about everything that he's up to and his creation standpoint and why he was put in prison. So, Mr. Hovind, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
All right. My name's Kent Hovind. I live in Lenox, Alabama, straight north of Pensacola, Florida, 70 miles. I've been a Baptist preacher 50 years. I taught high school science and math for 15 years, and I've done 358 debates against atheists at universities. I love to I believe the Bible is absolutely true, scientifically accurate, and the evolution theory is the dumbest religion in the history of the world. Nothing but a religion. People believe they're related to monkeys and bananas and all that stuff. It's not science at all. So I'll take on any atheist and evolutionist you can find. I'll debate them all. Bring them on. I believe the Bible's true. Oh, that's why they put me in prison. That's another long story. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, well, before we get into your evolution versus creation debate, let's talk about how you led up to going to prison.
Well, I've produced probably 25 million DVDs and videos in 42 languages. We have a series called my Creation Seminar Series, which most people start with, 18 hours. You can get it for $50. When you're done, you can send it back, get your money back. Brother, when I started this ministry in 1989, I learned right away Christians don't steal, but they borrow and never return. And so I'm not going to loan it to you. You give me $50. When you're done, you get your $50 back. But my video number 1 is about the age of the earth, scientific ways to prove this earth cannot be billions of years old. It can't be for lots of scientific reasons. I cover about 30 of them on video number 1. If you take away billions of years, the whole evolution theory falls apart just on that one point. Number 2 is all about the Garden of Eden. Why did they live to be 900 years old? And you get all my videos on our website, drdino.com, D-R-D-I-N-O, or you can call 855-BIG-DINO. But video number 3 is all about dinosaurs in the Bible. You know, dinosaurs always lived with man. The Bible says nothing died till Adam sinned. Man brought death into the world. Adam and Eve lived with dinosaurs. They were all friendly. Cover that on video number 3. Noah took them on the ark, probably babies. And there could be some still alive. We cover that on video 3. Number 4 is called Lies in the Textbooks. There's about 40 different lies they use to try to get the kids to believe in evolution. Things that have been proven wrong years ago, they're still teaching them. And video number 5 is the one they put me in prison for, the dangers of evolution. This religion of evolution is nothing but a religion. It's not only stupid, it's dangerous. We teach the kids they're nothing but an animal. Then we wonder, why are they acting like animals? Look what you're teaching them. I ask atheists all the time. I say, if evolution is true, how do you tell right from wrong? On any topic. How do you tell right from wrong? Would it be wrong to go next door and kill your neighbor's baby and eat it? I say, well, yeah. I say, well, the lion does it to the zebra every day. Why don't you go to Africa and hold up a sign in front of the lion, stop killing your neighbor's baby. That's just bad. Go do that, please. Video number 6 is called the Hovind theory. Where did the flood water come from? What did it do while it was here? Where did it go? From Noah's flood. And that's a fun one. You know, Grand Canyon probably formed in a week, not millions of years. You need to watch video 6. Video 7 is actually 2 parts, 2 DVDs, 5 hours, called Questions and Answers. We cover all kinds of topics like, what about carbon dating? How did the light from the stars get here? Things like that. This seminar is everybody's favorite, 18 hours. So it came in 2005. A SWAT team came to my house in Pensacola and arrested me. I said, what am I being arrested for? He said, for structuring. So I don't know. What is that? If you go to my website, our YouTube channel, Joseph, to get the links to the Answering the Critics, That's on our YouTube channel. Go to Genesis Baptist Church, our YouTube channel, and at the bottom it'll have playlist. Okay, Genesis Baptist Church playlist, and there's 4 videos under there answering the rumors. Okay, why'd you go to prison? I give a thorough explanation. I didn't break a single law. The government broke 100 laws to put me in prison. The U.S. attorney that spent 5 years trying to investigate me to find something to shut him up, when they came to arrest me, they said, get every DVD number 5 you can find. They searched the place upside down. They get all my video number 5. They did not get the master. We still make it in the series. Anyway, that U.S. attorney, John David Roy Atchison, after they put me in prison for structuring, which is not even a crime, okay? He went to Detroit to have sex with a 5-year-old, got off the airplane with Vaseline and an Explorer doll, and got arrested, and they put him in prison, and he hung himself. That's the guy who put me in jail for taking our own money out of our own bank. Google John David Roy Atchison. Then our judge, Margaret Casey Rogers, she tried to have 2 school teachers arrested for praying over their own food in the cafeteria. Public school teachers, yeah. Anyway, go to Genesis Baptist Church playlist, and there's only 4 videos on there answering the critics. Kent Hovind is innocent. There's a whole channel, KentHovinDisInnocent.net. You can watch all those videos. So anyway, while I was in prison, they gave me a 10-year sentence for structuring. You watch the video, it'll explain it. There was no crime at all. But while I was in there, I led 800 men to the Lord. I wrote 37 books. I earned 2 more doctor's degrees. I wrote 38,000 letters, I think, to people. I don't want to do it again, but hey, half the Bible's written from prison, so use it for the Lord.
So for the listeners who don't know, explain to them what structuring is, because it's pretty crazy.
Well, Congress passed a law to try to catch drug dealers. If a person takes out more than $10,000 out of their bank in cash, the bank has to fill out a form called a cash transaction report, CTR. Well, the drug dealers didn't want any reports filled out on them, so they would go in the morning, take out $9,500, and go in the afternoon and take out $9,500. Then the bank doesn't have to fill out a form, because you got to take out more than $10,000 at one time. So Congress, in their great wisdom, passed another law that said if you do 2 transactions in one day, we would take out $9,500 once every 2 weeks to pay all the college students helping us in the ministry around there. And so it was never twice in one day. And sometimes we took out over $10,000, and the bank filled out their form. I don't care if the bank fills out a form on anything I do, okay? So they came and arrested me for structuring. There was never 2 transactions in one day. Did not break any laws. I think the structuring law is stupid to begin with, but hey, it's a law, so I'll obey it. If I take out more than 2 transactions in 2 or more times in one day that add up to over 10,000, let them fill out their form. I've never taken drugs. I wouldn't recognize drugs if I saw them. I'm 71 years old. I've never tasted alcohol, ever. I don't even know what marijuana looks like. My wife bought me some underpants. They thought it was palm trees on there. And I like palm trees. I like Hawaiian shirts, you know. Somebody said, Brother Hogan, that's not palm trees. That's marijuana. I said, well, I don't know. So there's no drugs involved. I've been a Baptist preacher 50 years. It was to shut me up because I covered on video 5 how this evolution theory is the foundation behind Nazism. Hitler was a great believer in evolution, and he wanted to eliminate the inferior species. I've got Hitler's hit list. I was just looking for it in my slides here. I've got 50,000 slides. But if you watch my video number 5, I go through Adolf Hitler, his fascination with evolution. He wanted to speed up the process. See, if one animal evolves a little better than the rest, we need to wipe out the rest of them to make it speed up, you know. He thought the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Norwegians had evolved the furthest, and he should kill everybody else. At the bottom of Hitler's list, which I got in here somewhere, is the Jews. He thought Jews were inferior species. He wanted to kill them all. Right above that, he had the blacks. He thought black people were inferior and said, we need to kill them all. When Jesse Owens, the black American athlete, won the most gold medals in Berlin in 1936, Hitler was enraged, walked out of the stadium. But I go through how this evolution theory is essential foundation for communism, Nazism, socialism, the New World Order. See, the guys who started this country back in 1776, they threw a bunch of tea in the harbor, and they said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. They're endowed by their creator with certain rights. So I ask people, where do rights come from? Do rights come from God, or do they come from the government? You have the right to get married, or do you have to buy that right from the government? You have the right to drive on the highway, or do you have to buy that right? It really opens up a whole can of worms. Of course, the government, the big government folks, want you to think, well, you got to buy all your rights from us, okay? And then they got a whole system of people that will keep track of it. Well, I just simply expose the truth, and then nothing wrong. You can watch the same video, find me something wrong with that. So I talked about evolution is the foundation of humanism, socialism, communism. There are some pinky in the brain folks out there right now that want to rule the world. They want to take over the planet, okay? And they want to eliminate creation teaching because the creation people believe, I got rights that come from God. They didn't come from you, they come from God. So this is where the battle lines are drawn, and that's where they thought my video 5 was too dangerous for their New World Order plans. And so they didn't shut me up. People bought my videos like crazy when that happened. Wow, let's spread this around, and please do. I let people make all the copies you want if you're not selling them. Make all the copies you want, give them away to your neighbors. One guy in Dallas had 46,000 copies he's made. Please do. We're trying to win a war, not build a castle here. So come down and visit our Dinosaur Adventureland, Kurt. It's an amazing place down here. Somebody he saw my videos. He called me 8 years ago. He said, Kent, your videos changed my life. I said, well, good. That's what I'm trying to do. He said, I want to help your ministry. What's your next project? I said, well, brother, I've been in Pensacola for 30 years. I'm landlocked. I want to get a chunk of property and build a Christian camp, a museum, a science center, a theme park. He ended up buying 140 acres in Lenox, Alabama, and gave it to us for free. We've given visitors to people from 78 countries, all 50 states. We have 25 cabins people stay in. It's all free. Come on down. We don't charge anything. After a couple of days, we put you to work. Only problem we have around here, I warn everybody, we have well water. And I taught biology 15 years. And a lot of people don't know this, Kurt, but if you drink well water, your babies will be born naked.
Okay, everybody, it's Michael E. Cullen II.
And I'm Sesame and Carta from the All Too Real 2 podcast. We're passionate about movies, TV, and pretty much all things pop culture.
Dive into the chaos of failed sitcoms, direct-to-video sequels, and the quirky realms of cinema and TV.
Join us every Thursday for your dose of All Too Real 2 entertainment.
We'll guide you through debates like whether Howard the Duck qualifies as a superhero.
Ponder if Larry the Cable Guy could be the new Rock or Schwarzenegger.
Discover if some shows and movies should have stayed in the cutting room.
Ever heard of a sitcom featuring that dictator with the funny mustache? Well, we watched it.
We're dedicated to unraveling the peculiarities of pop culture, sometimes with awesome guests.
So, if you're into the eccentric world of pop culture,
listen and subscribe to All Too Real 2.
Available wherever you find podcasts
and on Age of Radio.
Well, tell us, if somebody goes to your Dinosaur Adventureland, because that might be something I want to bring my kids to one day. What can we expect when we come to there?
Well, we have 17 lakes and ponds for fishing and swimming. It was a gravel pit for years. We have a 12,000 square foot science center with all hands-on, lots of fossils and stuff about dinosaurs. One guy called me 4 years ago. He said, Brother Hovind, my neighbor is a world-class hunter and taxidermist. He died. He wants you to have his whole collection. He donated it. We probably have Alabama's largest taxidermy collection. We have a farm, petting zoo. People can pet all the animals. We have a playground where everything has a science lesson with a spiritual lesson. It's just amazing. Well, you guys been here all day. How'd you like it today? You probably can't hear me with the roof. It's raining down here. We've got visitors. Visitors come all the time. Anyway, we've had visitors from 78 countries. You come. It's all free. Don't charge anything. Stay overnight. We got 25 cabins. Put you up, feed you. After a couple of days, though, we're going to give you a hammer and put you to work. The whole place has been built by volunteers and donations.
All right. Well, kind of tell us about the books that you wrote. I know you wrote 37 of them, but just kind of give us maybe an overview of your best books.
Well, I've written 67 altogether. I wrote a book on what the Bible teaches about the future, what on earth is about to happen, for heaven's sake. While I was in prison, I wrote this one. I began studying intently. What does the Bible say in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation about what's coming? What can we expect? I did this book, What on Earth's About to Happen, did a video series called Whoa, What on Earth is About to Happen, for heaven's sake. And you can get that. I think we should be concerned about what's happening in the world. It's coming like a freight train. I did a chart that goes along with it, what on earth is about to happen, explaining God made the world about 6,000 years ago. This world is not billions of years old. There was a big flood that destroyed the world in the time of Noah. And we go through some of the main Bible characters: Moses, Abraham, David, Daniel. Jesus was here. Then there's a 2,000-year period called the Age of the Gentiles, which we're in right now. This yellow stripe is the 7-year period talked about in the book of Daniel, which is greatly expanded to be this yellow stripe here. The 7-year tribulation. I used to believe, because I was taught as a young Christian, we're raptured out any minute before the tribulation. I wish it was true. It's not true. We're here for the tribulation. We get raptured out before the wrath of God falls. So I made the chart. Jesus' disciples asked him in Matthew 24 and in Mark 13 and in Luke 21. They said, Lord, when are you coming back? And what's the sign we should watch for? Simple questions. When are you coming? What's the sign? For the next 20 verses, he talks about the horrible tribulation time. Then he says down in verse 29, after the tribulation, the sun and the moon are going to go dark. And I'm coming back. Angel's going to blow a trumpet and catch my children up to heaven. We get raptured out after the tribulation. I wrote quite a few books for my grandchildren on teaching basic science and things about God's amazing creation. I wrote a book called Why on Earth Did God Let This Happen? You probably had something bad happen to you. If you haven't, keep living. It will, okay? So why did God let this happen? It's a series of short letters and stories about people having trouble and trials. Like, why did this happen? Why did this happen to me, you know? So you can get that. Here's a letter from God asking Kent a few questions, okay? God knows how to ask the questions that are hard to answer. So I invented, while I was in prison, Nemail, not email, Nemail on your knees. On Nemail, you can talk to anybody, past, present, future. You can talk to yourself in the future. So I did a lot of cool stories in there called Why on Earth Did God Let This Happen?
Absolutely. So kind of explain to the listeners why you are so passionate about your creation theory, and what made you decide to get into this and even debate people on it.
Well, when I was 16 years old, a friend of mine asked me if I was going to heaven. I said, I don't know. I've been baptized, catechized, homogenized, pasteurized, circumcised. What else you got to do, you know? And he explained to me how I needed to trust Jesus Christ as my Savior and get born again. So I prayed and asked the Lord to save me, and started going to a little Baptist church and started reading my Bible. And right away I realized what I'm being taught in science class is not the same as what I'm reading in my Bible. If you add up the dates in the Bible, you only have to read the first 5 chapters. Genesis chapter 5, it says Adam lived to be 930 years old. He was 105 when his son was born. Oh, I'm sorry, 130. And all the dates are given in Genesis 5. Then you go after Noah's flood to Genesis chapter 11, and you read more dates, you know, how old they were when their kids were born. Well, before the flood, they're living to be 900. After the flood, it drops off to 400, 200, 100. And today, hardly anybody makes it to 100. Well, I'm being taught in the Bible. I added up the dates. You know, I love mathematics. I taught math 15 years. The Bible dates add up to about 6,000 years ago for the creation. And I'm being taught in public high school and college. The earth is billions of years old, and dinosaurs lived millions of years ago. I said, no, wait a minute. Somebody is lying. I don't know who it is, but somebody's wrong. And so that began a lifelong study of mine, finding out who's right, who's wrong. I read all the books I could find on creation, studied the topic for years and years. I moved to Pensacola, January of '89, and the neighbor kid said, would you like to take the paper? I said, no, I don't have a parakeet. But he said, well, let me throw it in the yard if I have an extra. So we threw them in the yard once in a while. An article came out in the paper that said dinosaur bones found in Montana from 80 million years ago. So I wrote my first ever letter to the editor. I said, these dinosaur bones are from one that drowned in the flood. Dinosaurs did not live millions of years ago. They lived with Adam and Eve. They published my letter in the Pensacola News Journal and started a war in Pensacola over the topic of dinosaurs. Atheists were writing in articles, and I was writing back and forth. After a couple of months of that, some students called me from the University of West Florida in Pensacola and said, Mr. Hovind, our professor in anthropology class is reading all your letters and making fun of you and making fun of them. Would you be willing to debate him? I said, well, I've never had a debate in my life, except with my wife. I lose those every time. But sure. So I did my first ever debate, 1989, and I've now had 358. I can't wait for my next one. I'll tear them up. The Bible's true. I was debating 3 atheists at the same time at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Jacksonville. 3 atheists at once, and one of the smart aleck professors said, "Where did God come from?" My 2-minute answer has 900 million views. Just type in "Where did God come from" by Kent Hovind. That came from God. I didn't know I knew that. It's pretty cool.
So explain to the listeners, I know you were talking about your videos that people can get.
Right.
If someone purchased your video series, what can they expect when they check it out?
Well, the Creation series is the main one, but if you go on our bookstore, on our website, drdino.com, DRDINO, you can see all the stuff we offer. We have lots of videos. Many videos of my debates are available. The whole video series on why on earth did God let this happen is a series. What on earth is about to happen is a series. So we have all kinds of stuff that you can get on our website. We have lots of books and stuff on there. But I believe the Bible is true, cover to cover. I tell people, if you watch my videos, when you're all done, you're going to say, "Wow, the Bible is true." Then about a week later, you're going to sit up in bed in the middle of the night and say, "Oh no, the Bible's true. I better change my life." It'll change your life. We've had probably millions give their heart to the Lord, get saved, and say, "I'm going to live for God." I tell people when I do my seminar, 3 things I'm trying to accomplish. Number 1, I want to strengthen your faith in the Word of God. Number 2, if you're not saved, I'm going to try to get you saved. I'm after you. I'm going to get you converted. Number 3, if you're saved and you're not doing much for the Lord, I'm going to try to make you uncomfortable. There's a war going on. Everybody should be doing something. If you're not going to shoot, carry bullets, take care of the wounded, do something for the Lord. Get busy. Get off your duff, soldier. Move it.
Well, tell us about any upcoming projects that you and your ministry is working on that we need to be aware of.
This Wednesday, to start our boot camp, a couple times a year, we have a creation boot camp to train people to get out there and do the job of teaching creation. So we have quite a few speakers. You can follow them. I run about 10 different channels on Rumble, on TikTok, and a whole bunch of places. They're all listed on drdino.com. We have our own TV channel, Kent Hovind Creation Scientist at Lightcast. You can watch there. We have all hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos teaching about God's creation. We did a whole series called Making Babies, asking atheists, here's how these animals make babies. Can you explain how that evolved? They never answered a single one of them. I think I did 20 or 30 of those in the Making Baby series, almost 40. They didn't answer any of them. Come on, guys. They can't answer it. It's not possible for that to evolve. So I love doing stuff like that, rubbing the atheist nose in it. You guys believe you came from a rock? Yeah. So we have lots of books and videos. That's our primary outreach on our channel. You can come visit. Every Thursday night we do a comments question answer time, and actually every program 7:00 at night, Monday through Friday, and Sunday morning at church here at 10:30 at the Genesis Baptist Church. Afterwards, we always take questions. So, got any questions? Tune in. If you're on YouTube, go to Genesis Baptist Church, Brain Faith. The other channels are Kent Hovind Official. Right here, I got them all on here. Right here. Can you put that up? No, see it, brother. If you can put that up on the screen. There you can see all the channels. We're on Facebook and Rumble and TikTok and Brighton. And this Sunday, tomorrow, I'll be speaking on Job chapter 6 in the Bible. Job finally responds after all the bad things happened to him. So you'll be able to do that. But top left-hand corner, drdino.com is our website, and our phone number, 855-BIG-DINO. We will help you strengthen your faith. Okay?
All right. We'll close us out with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something I forgot to touch on that you would like to talk about, or any final thoughts you have for our listeners.
Well, we serve about 3,000 meals a week here. A month to people who come visit, come stay for a few days. Everything's free. We've never charged anything. We ask God to supply, and sometimes He waits till the last minute. I have to yell at Him, but He still supplies barely on time. So come on down. You'd love it. It's free. Fishing is incredible. One guy caught a fish out of here. Let's see. He was. Get where you can see it. That fish was that far from the boat. Just the picture weighed 12 pounds. That's a big fish.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance, go check out the Dinosaur Adventureland. Check out everything that Kent is up to. Check out his books. Check out his video series. If you have any guest or suggestion topics, Curtis Jackson 1978 at att.net is the place to send them. Please get on your favorite podcast platform and give us a review, and follow us. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. And Kent, thank you for all that you're doing for the Lord. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, brother. Anytime.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.